It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live local social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for being here. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Getting straight into it, WB Parks wants to thank the community for passing the bond issue, which we discuss a lot of times here on the Splash Live. After the bond was passed, with 66.34% of West Bloomfield residents saying yes to the 20-year, $25 million bond, West Bloomfield Parks responded on Facebook with a thank you from Executive Director Kelly Heyer.
Hi, I'm Kelly Heyer, Executive Director for West Bloomfield Parks, and thank you West Bloomfield voters for supporting our bond proposal. We look forward to getting started on our new Connect Multi-Generational Community Center, as well as our park improvement projects, all of which enhance the quality of life for our West Bloomfield residents. You can stay up to date with our progress by following our website at wbparks.org/bonds.
And the massive support from the community sent a clear message about their desire for more amenities right here, but also continued improvements as well, as reflected by Commission member Vincent Kirkwood's reactions to the results.
We know that what we've been doing on the Parks and Rec board has been phenomenal. The staff, Kelly Heyer in her new position as executive director, we are committed to West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation. The board, all 7 of us, are committed to what we're doing. And I think that this bond passing to create a new recreation activity center kind of proves that. The township, the residents of the township know what we're about, and we would only do it if we thought it would benefit the residents. And we think that this will benefit the residents 100%.
And the WB Parks team has been hard at work informing the community not only about the bond issue itself, but about the amenities for many, many months, and leading to a lot of anticipation and a very happy Tuesday night as the results came in, said by Megan Tahako.
The support had been really positive leading up to yesterday's vote, but you never really know, right, how it's going to turn out. So we were all we kept refreshing the results page and keeping a close eye on it. We stayed up late to make sure things were, still going the way that we hoped they were going. So it was I think everyone kind of breathed a sigh of relief just because so much work has been put into getting us to this point.
And not only will the new Connect Senior Center be a huge part of these improvements, new stuff is also on its way to our other local parks.
The main 3 park improvements are playgrounds at Bloomer, High Lake Park, and Marshbank Parks, expanding the pickleball courts at Drake Sports Park, and the walking trail at Marshbank Park. And so when you take a look at the concept plans on the website, those 3 park projects, or those 3 improvement areas are also listed.
A lot of great information there regarding this proposal and everything around it. You can find out more information regarding the bond, I should say, and follow along for the progress updates. Go directly to the website, wbparks.org/bond. It'll have all the information that you need there. You can also visit our website, civiccentertv.com. Click on the On-Demand tab for clips and segments from our show where we provide more information as well. So transitioning from the reaction from WB Parks to actual community response to the WB Parks bond proposal as well. With the WB Parks bond proposal passing, it's brought a lot of excitement to the community. And we now go live to someone with firsthand knowledge of that joy. It's our very own Jake Shav live outside of the WB Parks and Recreation Center. Jake?
Hey, Kevin, good morning. It's a great morning here in West Bloomfield. I am here live outside of the West Bloomfield Parks and Recreation Center, where the new Connect Senior Center will be built. But just yesterday, I made a visit to the current Connect Senior Center, where I had the chance to speak with some of the visitors to hear their thoughts on the bond passing through. And Kevin, let me tell you, everyone is so excited for these new changes coming right here in the community.
Well, both myself and my husband are delighted. We live very close to the rec center, so it'll be a delightful walk over there. And the way I look at it is it's going to bring a lot of folks in that are middle-aged who'll want to go ahead and stay because there'll be things to do as they get older, as it is for we who are older to go ahead and stay and enjoy all the new amenities.
That's right. Susan and her husband have a lot to look forward to with this new senior center. And Kevin, this place has everything. A new lounge space, pickleball, table tennis, a walking track, so much more to focus on the mental and physical well-being of the seniors. Seniors who, by the way, play a very big role in helping make a lot of these changes happen in the community. As another local resident will tell you, the seniors' love and support is always crucial.
I think the support of the seniors as I get older and having things to do, and I love meeting people. I'm here right now on this day with the Ice Cream Social, meeting another neighbor. I have had so many positive experiences. And the employees that work for West Bloomfield Township Parks and Rec. All of them excellent, friendly, helpful. It's the best experience for a senior as myself, yeah.
So many great experiences for the seniors, but it's not just the seniors who are going to be excited about this, Kevin. Members of the West Bloomfield Parks staff also expressed their joy and excitement over the approval. And Parks Community Engagement and Development Coordinator Abby Burgess went into more detail on why this new center is important and the next stages of development.
Absolutely. So this has been a goal, I would say, for a little while. The current Recreation Activities Center, which is housed on the Civic Center campus, was never quite completed back when it was constructed originally. So we're hoping to now bring everything over to the Civic Center campus, as well as our Connect Senior Center, and combine it into one larger building in order to provide opportunities for our community members all in one location.
A lot to look forward to, Kevin, and so many great things are on the way right here in West Bloomfield. And as you can see, the entire community is very, very excited.
Very great. As we have Jake live right outside of WB Parks and Recreation Center, giving that great update. We appreciate you again, and try to stay nice and cool out there while you're live out there, Jake.
Thank you, Kevin.
Absolutely. A lot more information that we have that we will be giving you right here on Civic Center TV's The Splash Live regarding WB Park's new bond and everything as it continues to move forward. So make sure you continue to stay right here. Keeping you updated with other things going on in our community. Actually, we have a few local educators that are actually putting out information that's useful for the first day of school. You can check out the first West Bloomfield Preschool Academy podcast. Yes, in the first episode of the WBPA podcast, it's titled Preparing for the First Day of School. Now, it consists of Colette Gostin-Kors, who's joined by Sarah McDowell and Chanley Petrikis to discuss what parents need to know in order to get ready for their child's first day of school. And we're talking preschool, so we're talking literally their very, very first experience with school in general. They talked about things including filling out your child's health appraisal and other forms, reason for attending the open house, as well as preparing your child's lunch, being early or on time for pickup for your child from school, and so much more key information. Episodes are right now scheduled to air monthly. For more information, go directly to the website wbsd.org and find out more about the preschool podcast, or you can visit them on our Facebook, West Bloomfield Schools, as well. Since we're starting from the journey of their education from little kids all the way up to as we get older throughout high school, the Laker Opportunity Center through the West Bloomfield School District is now open to people ages 16 to 22, seeking a chance to recover credits and possibly earn their high school diploma, by the way. There's no better time than the present and no better place to do it than from the comfort of your home, with certified teachers actually helping you also. If online isn't for you specifically, there are also in-person cohorts meeting weekly and opportunities for drop-in learning on site also. So you have the opportunity to be completely online or in person, whatever fits for you. For more information and to enroll, visit wbsd.org/TLP If you're watching on Civic Center TV, you can see it right now. WBSD.com/TLOC. Make it easier. Go directly to their Facebook, West Bloomfield Schools on Facebook as well. From education to sweet treats, treating ourselves and our local communities, some restaurants have free smells, and one in Kego Harbor has the tastiest sign. If you're watching on Civic Center TV, you can see it right here. Sweet Bees Ice Cream, located on Cass Lake Road in Kego Harbor. On Wednesday, their windows got an upgrade, as you can see here on Civic Center TV, converted into a giant, colorful ice cream cone with that perfect chocolate ice cream drip right down the cone. You see it right there. I just want to lick the screen right now. That is what summer is all about. Great representation. You can see that great picture that was actually posted from Brooke Hamilton. So thank you again for that help, Brooke, giving us some more information and insight to Sweet Bees Ice Cream in Kego Harbor. Go ahead and pay them a visit as well. Paying a visit to local events is what you also want to do to support our community. And West Bloomfield High School robotics team has a car show that's coming up this weekend. So with us right here live on the Splash, we have West Bloomfield High School robotics team member Max Columbus joining me on the Splash to talk a little bit more about this event. And Max, if you don't mind, what are some of your personal goals and what are the team goals for this year's event?
Each year when we host the event, we love to see everyone come out and participate in the event. We love to interact with the community, show off what we've kind of done in the last year, get to know people, and fundraise a little bit.
Yeah, fundraise a lot of bit, actually. We could all use some funding to help us, build and gain capital and things of that nature. Real quick question, something you brought up kind of came to my head. Are you all showcasing some of the robots that you have built also?
We're gonna hope we can.
Okay.
Let's hope the weather's good and that everyone can come out and that the robots are ready.
Yes, fingers crossed, right? Fingers crossed. But besides possibly seeing some robots, can you share some other unique or exciting elements that some attendees could expect to see at the show this year?
We're gonna have some music. We're gonna have a food truck. My sister is also selling bracelets. We're gonna be walking around and talking to each of the car owners.
Okay, interesting. So we got a lot going on. You had me at food truck first and foremost, Max, but music, food, cars, robotics, a lot of things to learn. Even your sister selling bracelets. It seemed like a great time where the community is coming out and everyone's getting involved. With me right here on the Splash Live, West Bloomfield High School robotics team member and student Max Columbus talking about their upcoming second annual car show Sunday, August 11th at West Bloomfield High School. So since we are fundraising, Max, I'm not sure how privy you are on this information, but how do you feel, or how do the proceeds from the car show benefit the West Bloomfield robotics team?
We add them to our account, and then whenever we need like a new part or things to help us advance into the season, we will use the money in our account to benefit us with our robot build or whatever else we need to use it for with our team.
Right. I didn't think about that, Max. That's a good point. I don't know why in my head I'm just thinking everything that you all need, the school has already, and it's already provided. But when we're thinking about it and being honest, we're talking about robots and technology. So a lot of these pieces are going to take some time to actually go out and purchase. So I understand the funding part of that now. Now, I appreciate you for breaking that down. Since we have been promoting this event, you've been promoting this event with your team, how have you seen the reaction or the response from the community in regards to this event?
It's been a great response. I know my family has been going and hitting up different car shows and going to Woodward and handing out flyers. And we've actually seen it spread online. Other people have taken the flyer, downloaded it, shared it on Facebook, shared it with their friends, and we're just seeing a great response in the aspect of it. The word is getting around.
Yeah, good. And that's what we want. We want it to grow. This is the second annual. So the first one, people came, but the second one, we want to continuously build off that momentum and get it even better. Why do you think community events like this play a big role in supporting local school organizations like the robotics team?
It helps us show off what we have worked on. We're able to show off our stuff. If anyone has questions about the kind of things we do, we can get people interested and work to build the next year or future years of the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great point. Give people who are curious about robotics, people who are curious about cars in general, and give them a chance to come out there and kill two birds with one stone, actually be able to ask a lot of questions and pick your brain. With us right here on the Splash Live, Max Columbus, West Bloomfield High School robotics team member and student, talking about their upcoming car show Sunday, August 11th, 8:30 West Bloomfield High School. I don't know if you know, do you know how the judging part of the show? I know there's a car show, so we're looking at a bunch of exotic cars, unique cars, exclusive cars, but how will the judging be done for these? Do you know?
So it is broken up into a few different categories. I don't remember all the categories, but the team will actually walk around and we will just pick which ones we feel are the best based on the categories that we have and what fits.
Okay, interesting. And with all these car advocates, fans, aficionados, and experts that'll be right there at the high school with you, how do you feel like the knowledge that they have can help you and your other robotics team members with the endeavors that you take on?
Sometimes someone may have good advice to share, or they may say, this is a great team, we want to support them, we want to help them advance. So being able to share what we do and then get the feedback from others shows what we could do if we get feedback.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, we appreciate the feedback. And like we said before, when we had you on before, you can see a lot of the correlation between cars, classic cars, and how they're made up in the engine, and robotics and the different pieces and the elements that go into making these equipment, essentially, is what we're talking about. What has been the most rewarding part of helping to organize such a big event like this?
You get to see firsthand how fundraising goes and different methods to try. You know, if something doesn't work, you tweak it so that you can see it grow.
Yeah. Great response too, by the way. You just pick some things apart, you kind of learn, and you kind of move from there and figure out how, you know, what you can do better either next year or whatever the case may be. And with us right here, Max Columbus, West Bloomfield High School, robotics team member and student, talking about the car show August 11th. Don't want to hold you up too much more, Max. Last thing, well, one of the last things before I let you go, I just want you to take some time to explain some of the achievements that the robotics team have actually made throughout the last year.
Well, I would say getting the underclassmen hooked with robotics. We show up at freshman orientation or jumpstart, and in the room where all the clubs are, our team is there. We usually have a robot. We put some candy on the table and we talk to people. We usually get a large amount of people to put their name down, showing their interest, and it doesn't always happen that way when the school year starts, but it's good to have a large list of interests to start. We've interacted with the community with the car show, family fun night, some all-girls events, and helping out the Cub Scout teams and showing them what we can do, and other local robotics teams.
Yeah, I like that. So it's about growing the team. It's about showing people what you do. It's about actually putting that interest in other people too. I love to see that, and I love to see the passion that you have for what you do also, Max. We appreciate your time. One last chance, just tell people more about the event and why they should attend.
August 11th is our second annual car show. To come to see it, it's free. If you're participating, it's $20. You can register the day of. Venmo, which is on the flyer, check out WBHS Robotics on social media to stay in the loop. And we look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you again, Max, for your time and your perspective on the upcoming second annual car show, Sunday, August 11th, 8:30 at West Bloomfield High School. We appreciate you, Max.
Thanks for having me.
Great information, great interview with a West Bloomfield High School student talking about their upcoming car show at West Bloomfield High School. That will be Sunday, August 11th, 8:30 a.m., 12:30 p.m., and it'll also be the second half of that will be the poker rally with the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. For more information regarding that, visit them on Facebook at West Bloomfield Robotics. So much more to talk about, including maybe reflection on the election results. We'll get into that soon. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Hi, my name's Megan Tahako. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager for West Bloomfield Parks. Congratulations to Civic Center TV for reaching 1 million views on YouTube. We appreciate all you do in this community to help share our stories. Megan Tahako, proud to be one in a million.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
And now, back to The Splash Live.
Live, local, social, it's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for being with us. I'm your host, Kevin McIntosh. Now, Tuesday, August 6, 2024, were the state primary elections right here in our local community, and we had a lot of things going on. Some things change, some things remain the same. But overall, to give a perspective on the election results and how it affected our local community, joining us right here on The Splash Live, we have West Bloomfield Township Clerk, Ms. Debbie Binder. Thank you for being here.
Good morning, Kevin. How are you today?
Doing just great. Now that I have you here, we can clear the air on some things regarding the election and election results. First and foremost, I want to kind of look at things from two different perspectives with this first question. One, in front of the ballot. How would you describe the voter turnout for the state primary election in West Bloomfield Township compared to previous years?
I would say it's lower than we expected this year. It did not bring as many people out. When I look at the totals, it does get a little bit higher because we had early voting, but I would say overall it was a little bit lower than I expected it to be for this year.
Okay, completely understand. It's being a state primary, so I think most of us understand that the numbers are usually lower than the November election. But on the other side of that, behind the ballot, the work that the election workers do, can you just briefly describe the work that goes in during the actual hours of Election Day?
Yes, so as much as the turnout may be lower, the election work and preparation really isn't different because we're still getting everything ready, testing every machine, and doing all of our preparation work and our follow-up. It does make the voters experience a little bit better, perhaps, because they may not encounter a line at the precinct. But we, to set up for an election is probably 2 to 3 months of preparation. And we, 40 days before an election or when the absentee ballots go out, well, those all have to be assembled and matched, and there's a whole process that goes on behind the scenes to get those ballots out to people, and then a process to count them on Election Day. So on Election Day, you have two processes taking place, or actually three. Oakland County is processing the AV ballots that come, AV meaning absentee ballots that come in before 4 o'clock the Monday before. And then we have a mini AV counting board counting the ones that come in on Election Day. as well as our precincts we have 26 precincts set up to receive voters as well. So there is a lot of opportunity going on election day for people to cast their vote and have their voice heard.
And I'm glad you brought that perspective because, like we said, we're on the front side of the ballot. We just go in and fill it out and just turn it in and go about our days. But there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes in regards to that. And just briefly, real quick, as you all wrap up the elections, what is that process like? At the end, 8 o'clock, we're done. How are things taken care of from there?
So at 8 o'clock, when everything's done, the ballots are sealed into a bag by a bipartisan team who has a numbered seal that correlates with the number that's in their poll book. And everything is brought back to Town Hall in the presence of two parties and checked in by the chair and co-chair. And then the goal is that is to be held sealed until the Board of Canvassers releases our materials, which is probably about 3 to 4 weeks until they're fully released. The idea is that if the seal on the bag matches the seal that it was sealed in, then you know you have a bag that could be recounted if it needed to be for any question. But there's so many closing processes that the chair and co-chair undertake to make sure that to ensure the integrity of the election. Then post-election, the Board of Canvassers in Oakland County has 2 weeks to audit every single precinct in Oakland County, in every jurisdiction. So there's a complete follow-up audit on every precinct in Oakland County to verify that the numbers received are what was cast into the tabulator. And they do certify the election after that. Then it goes to the State Board of Canvassers. But there are a lot of layers built into preparation for an election, testing for an election. Then we have election day, and then there are audits that take place after an election. So there are a lot of steps and redundancies built in to guarantee the integrity of an election. But I will tell you, Kevin, the best way for people to know what goes on with an election is to work one. And to see the processes or come to the public accuracy test or different opportunities to learn about it. But you will learn more than you ever knew if you work an election. So I encourage people to get involved. It really is probably the most comforting, reassuring way to understand all the checks and balances that are in place and the teams working and the people working in the polls are your community members. They're your neighbors. They're your friends, they're your family. And if it's not your friends and family, we want your friends and family to join us. But it's a little community event. And you don't have to be a West Bloomfield voter to work an election. You can live in another community as long as you're a Michigan elector, or you can be a 16 or 17-year-old looking to get involved in your community, and you can actually work an election as well. But again, it's the best opportunity to see what goes on with an election and to see the steps built in and the processes built in and where the security is built into those processes.
Yeah, and we actually had a chance to talk to one of your election workers too, and she explained it all just in the same. That's the way that she actually learns about elections, the process, and things of that nature. Great point. With us right here live on The Splash, we have West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder talking about our election and our election results and the work that goes into it. I just want to get your reactions to a few things that also happened over the election. The West Bloomfield Parks bond, your reaction to it. It passed 34% of West Bloomfield residents voting yes to the 20-year, $25 million bond. Can you speak to it from your perspective?
Yes, from my perspective, I think it's a great day for West Bloomfield Township to have the ability to expand and have that new parks facility that's coming. We are going to be one of the premier communities that don't have a recreation or senior type center for our residents. And I think that this will be something that equalizes what other communities, what our peers have, and makes us even a more desirable destination for people to consider moving into. Our parks and our parks programming is really the jewel of West Bloomfield, and it does bring people here. And now we're going to have facilities to match and to provide programming that will even expand. I mean, they do so much to start with, but it will expand the things that they can do. And I know that when people are looking at the next generation for sustainability of West Bloomfield, when that next generation is looking at West Bloomfield and seeing the resources and assets we have versus the resources and assets we don't have, that rec center will no longer be one of those. And I think it's an exciting day for West Bloomfield. And you know, I know people always get nervous if there's a bond, but that cost is split among a lot of people who are going to benefit directly from having that recreation center. And I do believe it will help increase our property values too. Again, it'll put us as a destination place for that next generation that we do need to bring in for sustainability in the township.
Absolutely. I think everyone here in the community are very, very excited and looking forward to what we can get as far as facilities right here in our West Bloomfield community. Lastly, just talking about some of the Democratic members who went up for trustee, West Bloomfield Township trustee. A few of the members, including Vincent Kirkwood, elected to potentially even be on that trustee board. Can you just give a little bit more of your reaction to Vincent Kirkwood and other members who were elected to possibly move on and become a trustee?
Well, and you know, actually, the people who have been chosen at this point or elected at this point will not face opposition in November.
Correct.
There are no, you know, there's no opposition members, so they will be elected into that role in November. And I think Vincent, you know, will be he's the only one that is a change for this board, and he is a very welcome change. We've worked with Vincent as a Parks board member for many years. He's proven. He's capable, he's skilled, and most of all, he is kind. I have worked with him on the diversity task force. We've worked with him at Parks. We recruited him to consider running for township board, and I think that he will be a great asset for many reasons. I mean, just a good guy joining a good group of people with his heart set in the right place. And he brings that perspective of what we're trying to, when we talk about sustainability of West Bloomfield, the next generation. And Vincent brings with him two adorable young children that he's looking at the township from a little different perspective of somebody who wants to make sure it appeals to that generation and their young kids. So it's an exciting day to have Vincent Kirkwood join us on the board. It really is.
Solid point, solid point. One last question before I let you go. I think this is very important, at least to me personally. With a lot of talk about different interferences and things of that nature, we want to ensure that people's votes are being counted and everything is taken care of. Can you just talk about how the township ensures security and integrity of the election process, particularly with the use of technology and these electronic voting machines?
Okay, well, again, the security is built into the processes. And one of the important things to understand is that the election machines are not the ones that are tabulating in a precinct. They are not connected to the internet until the polls are closed. So at the point the polls are closed, the machine will print a results tape. We call it a results or a tally tape. And that gives the results of the election. After we have one tape printed with the results, it will then transmit via a secure cellular modem to the county, but again, not until the polls are closed. After it does that, it prints two more results tapes. So right away, you have a report before it transmits to the county, in addition to the ones that would print after. So in the computer is not, the electronic poll book is not connected to the internet. Now on early voting it is, because those votes are taking place right into the qualified voter file, so that a person, if they vote there, it's acknowledged that that ballot has already been cast. But again, those processes are built right into the election process, and working one is the best way to see how many processes there are. But to give you an idea, you know, Kevin, when we send over absentee ballots, if a precinct has 637 absentee ballots that are sent over to an absent voter counting board, at the end of processing, we have to account for 637 absentee ballots. They have to be accounted for as having been tabulated, and if they've not been tabulated, there has to be a reason provided why they weren't. The reasons that they wouldn't be is that somebody sent in their absentee ballot with an empty envelope and there wasn't a ballot inside. We did have one actually come in this year that was a May election ballot that was in an envelope. Well, that's not going to be tabulated. Wow. Or if we got a ballot from another municipality. It's not common, but it does happen. And those would be the reasons that a ballot may not be tabulated. But in all of those situations where a ballot's not tabulated, it has to be accounted for. So every single ballot that's received is accounted for. And voters are able to go to michigan.gov/vote and track their absentee ballot to ensure that we have received it. And that if we've received it, it has been tabulated because it has to be accounted for in that number.
Yep.
And we are balancing ballots the week before, voter name against ballot number for the entire week before. So if that website, the state's qualified voter file, shows that your ballot is received, you can be confident it was counted because it had to be accounted for.
Yes, thank you. And I know there's many different layers of security to it, but I wanted you to lay that out so we can ensure that our audience, our listeners, and our community knows that their votes are going directly where they want them to go. Thank you, again,
Kevin,
so much. Oh,
the
please.
only thing I would add is if people do have questions, call the clerk's office. Yes. Call me, call someone in my office. Don't go to TikTok. Don't go to Facebook. Don't go to Instagram for your information. Call a clerk. There are a lot of us. I was the president a few years ago of the Oakland County Clerks Association. I have a lot of colleagues that would be happy to explain the process and encourage you to work an election, but we would be happy to explain the process and give you correct information, and that's the best place you're going to get accurate information is from a clerk.
Thank you for telling us. And you're not wasting anyone's time just by calling up there asking any type of question, a basic question, complex, whatever. Thank you again for providing that.
Thank you.
Once again, West Bloomfield Township Clerk Debbie Binder joining us talking about election results in our community. We appreciate you. Once again, a lot of great information there talking about our election results, the security, and how the job is done both in front and behind the ballot. You want to find out more information regarding that, like she said, wbtownship.org, or of course, you can visit them on Facebook as well, West Bloomfield Clerk's Office, for more information as well. We'll continue to keep you updated with other things going on locally. As a matter of fact, we were talking about recently in regards to some news with some drownings happening in some Oakland County lakes. So with us, we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get more information. Right now, we are live, local, social. It is The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live.
Hi, I am Steve Kaplan, West Bloomfield Township Supervisor. I wish to congratulate Civic Center TV for reaching 1 million views on YouTube. Civic Center TV is very important to our community. I know many residents watch Civic Center TV. They receive engaging and interesting and informative program. Civic Center TV is one of the jewels in West Bloomfield. I am Steve Kaplan. I am proud to be 1 in a million.
Want to enjoy Civic Center TV on your social media? Find us on Instagram at Civic Center TV. Get notified when we upload one of our interviews, full episodes, and more. Thank you for watching and listening to Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Kevin McIntosh, your host for today. Now, recently a campaign has resumed in Oakland County to eliminate the abundance of these invasive plants, such as phragmites and knotweed, which can cause several problems, not only for drivers, but for the habitat as well. Here to tell us more about phragmites and these invasive species, as well as the dangers that they can cause, from WB Parks, we have naturalist Lauren Azori. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot to talk about when it comes to these phragmites. It's an interesting word in general. Can you just tell us more about what phragmites and knotweeds are in general?
Yeah, so they're one of many invasive species. So I normally get to come on here and talk about really exciting, fun things. Unfortunately, this is, invasive species is kind of more of a gloom and doom kind of conversation. But the good thing is there are things we can do to mitigate and to get rid of them and to put new, better plants in. So all invasive species basically means is that it is coming from another part of the world. It is not native to our area. And oftentimes what happens with invasive species, they can take over. So they will be a monoculture, it's called. So that means just that one plant is the only thing that grows there. And just think about that from an ecological standpoint, that's not good. You want a variety. All different plants, animals need all different things. So if something's going to take over a space, it's not good. The other thing is things like Phragmites can actually change the pH of the water, which means that it can change what can live there. So if Phragmites is too abundant in an area and continues to take over lakesides, frogs will move out. Things like that can't live there because it's changed the acidity, the pH of the water. So not only does it just take over, it can change the whole environment and ecology and change what species it can support.
Sheesh. Oh man, that's a lot.
You know, I told you, gloom and doom.
Yeah, that's a lot more. It was a lot more damage than I thought it really would do and contribute. And thanks, Phragmites. Thank you for correcting me on that also. So let's get into maybe the goals of the campaign. Is the goal for us to eventually essentially just look for them and just pull them out with our hands, or how does that work?
So it is a plant taller than you or I. It's over 8 feet tall. It's got a big feathery tall plume on top. And the roots that it has actually go just as deep. So the roots are 8 feet deep as well. So there's not much hand pulling, unfortunately, for the most part. Mowing can, if you do it at the wrong time of year, can spread the seeds. So you don't want to do that because that makes it grow more. So it's really important that those that want to treat Phragmites know kind of the life cycle of the plant and when and how to do it. And then OC SISMA, which is the Oakland County Cooperative Invasive Species Management Area, which WB Parks is a member of, works really closely with the Road Commission, because the other bad things about Phragmites is that it can block views of roadways. It does tend to grow in ditches and areas where moisture is at and water collects. So roadsides is a big area for that. So OC SISMA and the Road Commission have partnered together to treat Phragmites along roadsides because of the damage to the earth, but also the potential of blocking road right-of-ways and visibility on the roads.
Good point. Yeah.
So that's where part of this campaign that you're mentioning is come from. So they work together to provide funding, and another big part of this is education. So we got to teach people. They got to know what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, and great point. I'm glad you said education because I have a question to ask. But joining us right here on the Splash Live to talk about Phragmites, not weeds, and invasive species and plants, we have from WB Parks Naturalist, Lauren Azuri. Thank you for being here. And I want to talk about is there a permanent solution? Like, what is the actual challenge between controlling these? Like, why is it not or pull them from the weeds or do whatever we have to do and it's over from there?
Being an invasive species makes it strong. Like it can really, really, really thrive here because there's nothing that naturally gets rid of it. If we have, for instance, cattails are not an invasive species. They're great for the environment. They grow by the water, provide lots of great habitat and food sources for all of our aquatic animals. But muskrats eat them. Muskrats live here. Cattails are from here. So they have this relationship where they can help control it. Unfortunately, in nature, when we have an invasive species, nothing here, none of our species, even the deer who eat many things, will not eat it because they don't recognize it biologically. It's not something they've ever evolved with in our area, in North America. It came over from Europe. So in Europe, Phragmites is not a problem. They have animals there that control it. They have natural weather there that controls it. But here, because there's no natural things to control it, we really need to try to eradicate it or keep it at bay on our own. And unfortunately, one of the best, most effective ways to do that is using herbicide. So if you live in a lake association, you would want to get a contractor that has the correct permits to apply that kind of thing in the water. And it's a yearly process. It doesn't just happen once and you're done. Oftentimes it takes 3 to 4 years to hopefully get rid of a patch of it.
Right. Okay, good. And that's why we're glad we have you here to explain that. But let's just get to the point. In the instance that we don't have you at our fingertips, Lauren, or some type of naturalist or specialist, what other steps are being taken to educate the public in our community about the importance of managing these invasive plants?
Yeah, we definitely try to provide plenty of outreach programming, and so does Oakland County SISMA as well. So if it's a new species, like Phragmites, we've been battling for I don't even know how many years, but years and years and years. If there's a new species that we can get a hold of and know that it's starting here, but we could stop it before it gets worse, like Phragmites has, a lot of effort is focused on outreach for species like that. So they'll put door hangers on people's doors if we notice it in their yards or by their lakes, so that they know what it is. Sometimes invasive species have a pretty flower and people think, oh, this is beautiful, I'm gonna keep it, I'm gonna just let it grow here. And they don't realize all these ill effects that it can really cause. So some of those outreach efforts are helpful. We definitely, on our social media at WB Parks Facebook page and Instagram, we post different things about it as well. But OC SISMA is a great resource, and their website has species profiles for each of these invasive species, including knotweed, Phragmites, purple loosestrife, all of them. And so it's usually just a one quick page you can look up, and it's got an easy way to identify those invasive species, which ones they are and what they look like, as well as ways to treat them. And there's different levels of treatment. So if you have a small patch, the species sheet should tell you how to handle it on your own. And if you have a very large patch, it'll give you suggested contractors to contact to do that. So there's different levels that will help you learn what you can do on your own or when you need to call for help.
Okay, perfect. Okay, before we wrap up, I have to ask my one stupid question, I guess. This is from my personal brain. I would think everything in nature has a purpose, right? So are there any benefits, or do these plants do any good for nature or for anything whatsoever?
No.
Oh, wow.
So I can even make a case, I can plead a case for native wasps, even though they sting and people hate them.
Right.
I can't plead a case for anything that's not native from here because it doesn't really give us ecological value. So what has happened is humans have intervened. They brought them over in ships for cargo hold, or they thought that would be a good food source. Like a lot of invasive species have been brought over here purposefully without realizing the repercussions years and years ago.
Right.
Or one silly thing that we do is that we might have it in our boots or in our mowers. So what the road commission has been doing is that they will clean their mowers off. So they actually will wipe their blades now when they mow an area with Phragmites and then move on to another area, because they, in the long run, without me knowing it, could have been spreading that. Same with you and your neighbors, right? So yeah, unfortunately, Kevin, I always like to look on the bright side. Normally, you know that I am like an optimist. But with invasives, there is no ecological value if they're not from that area. If you want to go to Europe and check out the Phragmites there, I'm sure it's got lots of value. But here, unfortunately, it does not.
I just knew you were going to say yes, but I'm so glad you were honest and told us, no, these don't really even belong here. They're not native here. And when you say that, it makes a lot of sense. I want to thank you so much again for joining us and giving us your information. Once again, from WB Parks Naturalist, we have Lauren Azori talking about these invasive species, knotweeds and Phragmites. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
A lot of great information there. Cleaning off the blades of your lawnmower, very important also. So make sure you keep up with all the information. Like she said, you want to know more, visit them on our website, wbparks.org, and of course, they are on Facebook as well, WB Parks as well also. Speaking of information and resources, a place to get that is the library. And recently, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library welcomed some friends from overseas, welcoming their sister library to the main branch all the way from Japan. And our very own reporter, Jake Schaff, has a story.
For the last 25 years, the West Bloomfield Township Public Library has built an incredible relationship with the Awaji City Library in Japan. And every 2 years, members of that library visit all the way from Japan to America to observe our culture and to celebrate our relationship in a beautiful symbolization of friendship from friends far, far away.
We're happy to host the delegation of students and the chaperones from Awaji City in Japan. They're our sister city. And so we have, it's a little bit of a party. We talked about books. We talked about places that they like in Awaji, told us about that, and played some games and had a lot of fun. It's wonderful. It just shows international friendship and that kids are kids and we can all have fun together and get to know each other and understand each other and talk about books and talk about the things that we like and make new friends.
The library we have in Awaji is much smaller than here, so we have a lot to learn from the library, but the heart loving books are the same.
So, what can you tell me about the relationship between the two libraries?
Well, if you look at the front of the library, we have a display case of all the gifts we've exchanged. This was part of a millennial initiative by the White House. And so they assigned different libraries to go find somebody in the community or in another country. And at the time, the Detroit area had the largest Japanese population in Michigan. So we picked a sister library in Japan. So we gave them a tour of the library. We had them work on an art project that we hope to display on August 10th for our Matsuri, which means festival in Japanese. We exchanged gifts, which is a big part of the Japanese culture. It's a big gift-giving culture. They gifted us artwork, books. We also returned the favor, and the Friends of the Library, always generous, gave gifts to our visitors too.
What has it been like to see the kids experience being an American, being in the U.S.?
Wonderful, just wonderful. What you see is that kids are kids wherever they're from, and to see them enjoying themselves and their faces light up because cookies are here. And when they told us about their favorite books, and some of my librarians smiled because they know those books. And just to see everybody having a really good time, and they got to show off their culture, we get to show off our culture, everybody has a great time.
In the beginning, because this is their first time to USA, and in the beginning they were so nervous, and their English was so like Japanese accent, but spending many days in US, they're getting used to the English, to listen to the English, speaking English, and many of them said, I don't want to go home. So that's really good, shows that they had really good time in US. So I'm very happy, and it will go on so nicely.
It's amazing to see this relationship between two libraries from opposite sides of the world grow so strong over the years. And I have a feeling that it's only going to grow stronger as the future continues, and that everyone continues to bond over life, love, and the joy of reading. For Civic Center TV, I'm Jake Schaff.
Thank you for that story, Jake. And just after their tour, the Higashiora Library gifted our local library these octopus sculptures you'll probably see on Civic Center TV if we can pull those up. And from the library's Facebook post, it says, quote, octopus in Japanese is pronounced like oku to pasu. Oku means to put something, and pasu means to pass the exam. So people say that if you put octopus-shaped goods by our side, it may help us pass the exam. So students often say, or often have them as good luck charms, quote unquote. You're seeing them right on civiccentertv.com if you're watching. WB Library marking its 25th anniversary this month of a sister library partnership with the Higashiora Library in Awaji City, Japan. There will be a full day of celebration on Saturday at the main library for the Japanese Cultural Festival, or Matsuri is what they call it, featuring dancing, games, a traditional tea ceremony, and more. For more information, as always, it is available on their Facebook, West Bloom LIB, for more information. Earlier this week, we did experience a little bit of rain, and that may have affected some of our local lakes and beaches also. And Cass Lake and Cass Lake Woods Beach was closed as of Wednesday, August 8th, due to some contamination. And Mark Hansel of Oakland County Health Division explains the difference between a contamination advisory and a closure.
The difference really is the advisory is very similar to a closure, in which we have evidence to suggest that swimming in that water might expose you to some bacterial contamination that could lead to negative health consequences. Where a closure is, we have laboratory confirmed results to suggest that there is absolutely bacteria in that water at a level that is above the state recreational water standard. And under our current Michigan public health law, we have to use that method to issue a closure where there's actually a bacterial count.
And just for a brief correction, as Cass Lake and Cass Lake Woods Beach closed as of Wednesday, August 7th, just to let you know. But although there are many different ways that our Oakland County lakes can be contaminated, there are a couple of common reasons why you may see an advisory or closures at our beach.
The most common way in all of the years that we've been doing this kind of sampling of our lake water, especially swim areas, is where we do this particular program. It is kind of a heavy rain event, has the ability to scour the surrounding landscape, and lakes being just naturally lower than the landscape, all of that runoff kind of goes into the lakes there. And we are looking for a bacteria that's called E. coli. And E. coli is a bacteria that is present in the gut of every warm-blooded animal. So every squirrel and raccoon and chipmunk and even birds like ducks and geese that may be on the shore kind of gets washed into the water body there, and it gets detected as E. coli in our water samples. That's the most common way.
Okay.
And when we see chronic closures where it is closed for long periods of time or it's closed over and over and over, we are going to look for something that is even more serious than that, which could be maybe a sewer line break, or it could be a leaking septic system or something like that.
Well put. And just a reminder, Cass Lake Woods Beach, although it is right here in West Bloomfield and affects us, with that being said, Oakland County Health Division is on top of it by making sure they test the waters to make sure they are fine to enjoy by our local residents.
We sample every week, so rain or shine, we're out there sampling, unless there's an issue at our lab or something that prevents us from sampling. But we are continuously looking for and sampling these swim areas. And if we do get a sample that shows that it's closed, we will continue to sample that beach every day until we can get it reopened, just to ensure that everyone is safe.
Once again, great information from Mark Hansel, Oakland County Health Division, just talking about our local Oakland County lakes and the contamination behind it. If you want to find out more information between the difference between a contamination advisory and closure and more, go to oakgov.com for more information as well. Since it is still the summer, we know that we are still dealing with different bees and insects outside. But one thing you may not have known, West Bloomfield has its very own beehive. It's out at Carner Farm, a property of West Bloomfield Parks, by the way. They partners with Bees in the D, who opened their hives to some junior beekeepers. This was just last weekend, to learn a little bit more about the importance of these creatures, these insects, these bees, we should say. They help our local plant life as amazing pollinators, by the way. And of course, they produce plenty of Bees in the D honey right here close to home. You can learn more about upcoming programs with Bees in the D on the WB Parks website, wbparks.org. If you're watching on civiccentertv.com, you see those smiling faces as they are out there. And you can also learn more about Bees in the D's hive in West Bloomfield all across Metro Detroit on their Facebook as well at Bees in the D for more information. If you are a canine lover or a canine in general, you should be joining the Drinking with Dogs event that'll be happening at the Library Pub Tuesday, August 20. Every year, K9 to 5 hosts Drinking with Dogs event throughout the summer at dog-friendly venues. And this venue, like we said, will be at the Library Pub in West Bloomfield Tuesday, August 20. And some of the proceeds actually benefit the local animal rescue, Detroit Dog Rescue, and they'll be actually at the event as well. For more information, you make sure you go directly to their website, k9to5.com. That's all the information that we have for you as of today, but we will continuously keep you updated because we are live, local, social. It is The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.